All right. You are ready to make your first hire. You are ready to start delegating, getting some of this stuff off your plate, and have somebody share some of this stuff going on around this joint. Congratulations. And you say to yourself, I already know I'm about to make them a 1099 independent contractor because I heard that it is cheaper and it is so much easier to do. And I also heard that it's not going to pay no taxes. I ain't got to pay no taxes. And I ain't got to set up payroll. But hold on.
They don't love you like I love you. Slow down. They don't love you like I love you. Back up.
I know, right? It isn't that easy. Unfortunately, this is a huge decision. And it might be a decision that the IRS has already made for you. The IRS.
What you talking about, Willis?
So if you are an entrepreneur at the point in your entrepreneurial journey where you're ready to make your first hire and you are trying to figure out if a 1099 independent contractor or a W-2 employee is the best fit for your business, then you're going to want to keep on watching because I am about to break it all down for you right now. Let's get to work.
You an entrepreneur, I got what you need.
Hey there, my loves. Welcome back to CPTV. I, of course, am CP. And if you are an entrepreneur trying to start, set up, or grow your business and turn those ideas and passions into a business and those businesses into a 6- and 7-figure empire, then this is the home away from home. I guarantee you, if you stick around, take a look around, subscribe, and click the bell, that you are going to be floored with all the goodness that I give you every single Tuesday. So now that we have gotten that business out of the way, let's talk about whether you should pick a 1099 independent contractor or a W-2 employee for your business. All right. First things first. Understand the difference between the two. All right. So let me break this down. A 1099 independent contractor is in essence a business owner themselves. Whether they are a freelancer or a solopreneur, bottom line is they are really treating the services that they provide to you as a business, right? As some tasks, as a relationship, almost like a vendor. So you are not going to be paying any taxes on the work that they do. You're not going to have to pay payroll taxes. They will ultimately be responsible for those. And in essence, they should be treating you just like a vendor would, right? Do some work for you, send you an invoice, you pay the invoice, and then you track it through your financials as an independent contractor payment. That is an independent contractor. A W-2 employee, on the other hand, is a full-fledged employee of yours. They are your employee. They use your business name. They use your business brand. They ain't no business owners. And you are ultimately paying them a salary or an hourly amount. You are paying payroll taxes on their behalf, and you ultimately have a little bit more control. So you get it? That's the big difference. An independent contractor is just that. They are independent. And that is how you have to treat them. And that is how they will function. A W-2 employee is an employee of yours. And ultimately, they're going to cost you a little bit more money, but you will also have a little bit more control. Now, what am I talking about? Let's move on to step number 2, and I'll explain. So step number 2 is all about that control that I mentioned in step number 1. There are technically 3 primary areas of control that you have to consider before you classify this person that is joining your team. And the IRS, that's when they start getting involved, has already dictated exactly what type of control makes someone a W-2 employee. Now, you're probably asking, why the IRS even get involved, right? They always sticking their nose in somebody else's business and always trying to tell somebody exactly what they got to do and how much they got to pay. And sorry, y'all. Sorry, little struck a chord, right? You know, inflicted some trauma. But anyway, the IRS does dictate it. And a part of the reason is because they know that a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs, in order to avoid paying payroll taxes on people, will automatically put them in the 1099 category, even if technically they don't treat them like a 1099 employee or contractor, right? That is why the IRS puts the rules. And I have had clients over the years who have violated those rules, and they have chosen to ignore those rules. And when it comes down to it, if the ODL gets involved and they start to investigate, they will really do the tests of these 3 areas of control. And if you fail any one of these 3 areas, that person should have been categorized as a W-2 employee all along, and they will fine you, they will charge you money, and they will go back and collect every single dime of payroll taxes that you did not pay. All right. So it is not worth it to not make the decision and to not actually set up your new employee in the right manner. So let's talk about what these 3 areas of control are, because if you answer yes, that you want this type of control over anyone, then ultimately you are looking at a W-2 employee and not an independent contractor. All right. Area of control number 1. Behavioral control. This type of control means that you want to control the way in which the work is actually being done and the schedule of when it's being done. So that means if you want to tell someone, I need you to work Monday through Friday from 12 noon until 4 p.m. every single week. And if you got to take a day off, you can just let me know. But ultimately, that's when I need you to be present. Then that is behavioral control. What the IRS is saying, and what you have to think of it like, is you don't have behavioral control when it's truly an independent contractor. An independent contractor might give you timelines and you might give them deadlines around whatever it is that they're supposed to be delivering to you in the deliverables, but you don't get to dictate when they do it or how they do it. A true 1099, you'll say, this is what I need to get done. I don't care if you do it at 12 o'clock midnight from your kitchen table, just get it done. But if you are telling them, I need you to work from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m., you have behavioral control. Area of control number 2. Financial control. You have some type of control over the business side of things, like how they are paid or the tools and the systems that they use or the specifics of the tools and systems, or worse, you are providing them with the tools and the systems. That equals financial control. You are paying them or for something that they need in order to really get this job done for you. That means that they are a W-2 employee. So if you hire an independent contractor to edit videos for you, but you give them the computer and you give them the software, that is financial control. So technically, they are a W-2 employee. You get it? All right. Financial control is very specific. If you are hiring a true independent contractor, they will use their own stuff to get the job done. You are not giving them anything. You are not paying for anything. They are truly a vendor, and they're going to give you something at the end of this relationship, and you're going to ultimately pay them for that thing. Think about it. It makes sense. If you bring a plumber into your house to fix a leak, and he's not your employee, he gonna bring his own tools, he gonna pull up in his own truck, he gonna tell you when he's coming, he gonna do all that stuff on his own, and at the end, he's gonna fix your pipe and you gonna pay him. That's an independent contractor. And that's you not having any financial control. I had a client at one point that had a trucking company, and every single one of their drivers was an independent 1099 contractor. But they were providing them with the trucks, with the insurances, with all the tools. Everybody had like a card that they could use in order to be able to get expenses and gas. He had all of these things going on. And that meant that they were W-2 employees. They were not independent contractors. So when I was explaining this to him, he's like, well, what do you mean? They are independent. I mean, they do their own thing. I'm like, no, a true independent contractor would come up in here with their own truck. They'd be using their own credit card for their gas, and they wouldn't necessarily be doing anything for you, but picking up what you want them to drop off somewhere else. That is an example of financial control. And if you figure that you want that financial control, again, you don't want an independent contractor. You want an employee. Control area number 3, contractual control. This means that you have a benefits offering or the worker is unable to perform work for others freely by contract or by implication. Yes, you are telling them you can only do this for me. I need you to understand that when you are doing this particular thing, then you're doing it only for me. You are dictating who they can work with, when they can work with them, and whether or not they can work with anybody else but you. You are also putting them under your brand or your business name. When in essence, if they're truly an independent contractor, they'll have their own brand and their own business name. So if you are looking for someone that's an administrative assistant and you begin to dictate what their hours are, you give them a laptop to work on, and then you also give them an email address with their name at yourdomain.com, you have broken all 3 rules of control. That is what contractual control means. They are doing something under the guise of your organization, unless you are white labeling a particular service, and that gets a little bit more complicated, so forget I even said that. But contractual control in essence means that you are controlling if someone's perceived services are their own or yours. If it's yours, if you are doing all of those things, then technically, boo, you don't want an independent contractor. You want a W-2 employee. So you get where I'm going with this? Making the decision is a huge one. And I don't want you to make this decision based off of financial reasons. The idea of hiring a W-2 employee and paying payroll taxes and doing payroll can be very scary. And it can ultimately have people making the wrong decision about exactly who they want to hire. I get it. But think about this. Payroll taxes ain't really that big of a deal. If you want all those areas of control that I just mentioned, then you want a W-2 employee. And think of it this way. Whatever you're going to pay them, the number that I use to stay safe is, for budgeting purposes, I add an additional 20% to that, which will cover all of those employee W-2 related expenses like workers' comp or, the payroll taxes. So it's not really a big deal. If you're paying someone $1,000, you're talking about an extra $200. But that's going to cover your ass so that you ultimately aren't hiring someone that you want to control and telling them that they're independent. If you're paying someone $100, you're literally talking about $20. Is that really worth risking your business for? I think not. And this whole idea that doing payroll is scary and it's hard, look, it is. So outsource it. Don't do payroll yourself. It is not that expensive, especially if you're only talking about one employee. Most payroll companies will charge you per pay period for the number of paychecks that they actually issue. And if it's just the one employee or it's just you and the one employee, you're literally going to be looking at less than $100 a month for somebody else to process everything, to pay all of the taxes correctly, to provide you with all of your reports, to do the W-2s at the end of the year, and you can process 1099 payments through it so that your 1099s are issued properly. Because whether you have a W-2 employee or a 1099 employee, you still have to issue those end of the year documents for either one. So there's still some payroll work involved, boo. It don't matter. Writing a 1099 check or sending a 1099 cash app is just as hard as pushing a button and having a payroll company do your payroll. So get off of that whole concept that payroll is hard. That can't be the reason why you make the decision about what type of employee you want. You agree? I thought you might. Good. So if you now know who you want to hire, the type of employee you want to hire, let me know in the comments below. I really want to hear what direction the audience is going in, because I think it's important to begin to get out of the mindset that your automatic first employee is going to be a 1099. Maybe, but maybe not. And if you've watched this whole video and you stick to my rules for success and the steps that we just went over, you will be able to make that decision as an educated CEO headed for the top. If you like this video, please make sure that you like it for me. Share this video. Make sure that you subscribe and click the bell before you leave, because every single Tuesday, I'm bringing you more just like this. And until next time, my love, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.